Orndorff has Hogan, and he's pinning him up for the pile driver. If he hits it, it could be over. He does. Could we have a new champion? Goes for the cover. And he kicks out at 2. Orndorff with a body slam. Hogan reverses it and drops him back. Scorpion death drop by Hogan, and he's going for the leg. And he hits it. This should be it. Hogan goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3.
Folks, the opening contest here on Primetime Wrestling features one of the top contenders to the Tag Team Championship, Demolition. Now they're making their way to the ring, and they'll be taking on the competition of Dwayne Gill and Jim Thompson, who's been on a little bit of a hot streak in recent weeks here in the World Wrestling Federation. But Axe and Smash Demolition, and these guys are tough. They are newcomers here to the World Wrestling Federation, already in top 5 of the contendership for the tag team titles, and these guys like to hurt people. Make no bones about it. Axe and Smash, their names are appropriate. And coming to the ring, and you hear the fans respond to Jim Thompson, who in recent weeks has been winning over the crowd here in the World Wrestling Federation, and his tag team partner, Dwayne Gill, looks a little bit more serious than Jim Thompson, soaking in the fans' response to him. Dwayne Gill looks a little bit more even keel, if you will. And it looks like it's going to be Axe starting up against Jim Johnson. And there's the bell. And Axe with a side slam takes Johnson down. And Axe working the neck of Jim Johnson. And ramming Thompson's head into the mat. Like I said, these guys will hurt you. And Axe again, working on the neck of Jim Thompson, as Smash cheers on in the background. And again, ramming Thompson's head into the mat. And a backdrop by Thompson. And he makes his way over and tags in Gill. And Gill goes under Axe but misses. Axe does not. A shoulder block to the head, a second one. And a third one takes Gill down to the mat. And off the ropes and drops the elbow. And Axe, for a big man, quite agile in the ring. And he's twisting the head of Dwayne Gill. And Gill better be careful. This guy is huge. And Axe picks up Gill. And working him over into the corner. And he tags in Smash. And Smash and Axe double team maneuver. Big punch to the gut. And a double axe handle. And a double stomp to the gut of Dwayne Gill. And I really think if they want... Oh, and Smash. Smashing Gill's head into the mat. Drops the big elbow. I think these guys are just toying with him right now. They could have ended this match moments ago. But I think they want to punish Gill. And Gill making a little bit of a comeback. Takes down Smash. Going over and making the tag to Thompson. And here comes Thompson. But he's met with a snapmare takeover. And Smash working the head of Thompson. And Demolition working their way up the ranks to the Tag Team Championship. And there's Smash again, smashing the head of Thompson. This guy will hurt you. They will both hurt you, Axe and Smash. And Smash setting him up for a powerbomb maneuver and nails it. And Thompson may not get up from that. And a kick to the stomach, and again a double arm smash and a clothesline from behind. And Smash is just toying with him here. This match could have been over. Setting him up for a suplex, it looks like. And look at the strength. Thompson is 260 pounds, and Smash is lifting him up like a bag of potatoes and takes him down to the mat. Gut wrench. And Thompson's in trouble. And I can't believe that Gill was reaching in for a tag there. I mean, who wants to get in the ring with these guys? A big rake of the eyes by Smash. And a belly-to-back suplex. What a beautiful maneuver. And Smash is just toying with him. He could be setting him up for that big lariat. And he did. He nails him with it, and that should be all. He goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Demolition's your winners here on Primetime Wrestling. And I don't think there was much offense from Gill and Thompson, as Axe and Smash are just dominating the tag team division here in the World Wrestling Federation. And there's that lariat maneuver. And if he hits that on Bret Hart or Jim Neidhart, we may be looking at new tag team champions. And a beautiful belly-to-belly by Axe. And Demolition is a team to be reckoned with here in the World Wrestling Federation. Fans, stick around. We have much more Primetime Wrestling after this timeout.
And folks, here we are with our next contest. Tito Santana taking on Ace Cowboy Bob Orton. And Santana, the number 2 contender to the World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Championship, currently held by the Macho Man. And he is anxiously awaiting the winner of that match between the two in 2 weeks' time at the Philadelphia Spectrum. But for right now, he has his hands full with the Cowboy, who's currently working over his arm. Santana does maneuver to get out and reverses it. Another reversal by Ace. And Santana reverses that armbar. And a reversal by Orton takes him down. And Ace stomping away on the arm of Tito Santana. The same arm he uses to use that flying forearm, that finishing maneuver. And a high knee by Tito. And that stuns Bob Orton. Whipped into the ropes. And a stalemate. Orton whips Tito into the ropes. Another stalemate. These two are so evenly matched. Snapmare takeover by Bob Orton. And raking the eyes right in front of the official. And Tito Santana with a comeback maneuver. And he rams Bob Orton's head into his knee. Folks, we have to take a commercial break. We'll be right back after these words. And we are back, and Bob Orton's still in control. He's been in control for most of this matchup, even during the commercial break. And stomping away, and Santana rolls out of the way. And a Bulldog maneuver on Bob Orton. Now working the leg of the Cowboy, and Snapmares it over. And Tito going up to that second turnbuckle, calling for Orton to get up. And a double axe handle takes the Cowboy down. And Tito with a gut slam on the Cowboy. And Tito has taken control of this matchup. Setting up for a suplex and nails it. And Ace is in trouble. A knee to the back sends Cowboy reeling. And now working the arm in the chest. Cowboy was working all over Santana during the commercial break, but Tito's coming back with his own and has him up in the guillotine over that top rope. And now he goes for the cover and the kick out at 1. And Tito now working the leg of Orton. And stomping right to head. He's just working the whole body of Cowboy Bob Orton. And a knee to the head. Send him up for that suplex and nails it again. A beautiful maneuver by Tito Santana. And whips him face first into the turnbuckle. And whips him across the ring and back into the turnbuckle. Face first, Bulldog goes Cowboy Bob Orton. And Santana's feeling it with a knee to the head, and I think that busted open Bob Orton. And it did. Cowboy Bob Orton has been busted open. And Tito Santana feeling it now. Could he be setting him up for that 5-arm, that flying forearm? And he nails it. And he's going to go for the cover. Could that be all? Referee in position. 1, 2, 3. And ladies and gentlemen, Tito Santana continuing his hot streak here on Primetime Wrestling with a big victory over Ace Cowboy Bob Orton. And he is still near the top of the rankings for that Intercontinental Championship. And the Macho Man best be on the lookout, because Tito Santana is looking great. And there's that flying forearm, which he calls the 5-arm. Actually, Terry Taylor calls it the 5-arm. But since no one's counting, we're going to call it the flying 5-arm. And that was the 3 count. Your winner, Tito Santana. Folks, we have much more, including our main event of the evening, as Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff takes on one half of the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Folks, we'll be right back after these words. And folks, you've been hearing us talk about it all evening. The big match in Philadelphia, 2 weeks' time at the Philadelphia Spectrum. A 2 out of 3 falls match for the Intercontinental Championship, as Ricky the Dragon Steamboat challenges the Macho Man Randy Savage. But before Philadelphia, the Macho Man will step in the ring with Rusty Brooks on Primetime Wrestling. And here he comes to the ring, led by the beautiful Miss Elizabeth, the World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Champion, the Macho Man Randy Savage. And it bears repeating that each and every week, the Macho Man gets more and more popular. I think the fans have really respected the way that the Macho Man puts his championship on the line. You know, whether you like him or don't like him, you cannot argue with the fact that he is a fighting champion. And the fans showed their appreciation by cheering the Macho Man. even though he's still known to break the rules every once in a while. And the Macho Man waiting for his opponent, Rusty Brooks. And you know that Ricky the Dragon Steamboat will be watching this match, as well as Tito Santana and Ted DiBiase, the Honky Tonk Man, and all the other contenders. The Macho Man has faced them all in recent weeks and has come out with that Intercontinental Championship still around his waist. And nails a power driver on Rusty Brooks, and that might be it. And the Macho Man picks up Brooks. And a gut-wrench suplex. And the Macho Man going up to the top. And he's setting him up for that flying elbow drop. And he leaps, and a beautiful move. He twists in midair. And there's no way Rusty Brooks is kicking out of that. 1, 2, and 3. The Macho Man twisted himself in midair. We have a replay coming up. Just a beautiful maneuver. There's the spike pile driver. Watch this. Beautiful move. That elbow nailed him right in the head. Bang! And it says something when you're 235 pounds flying through the air and you can change direction in midair. That is very impressive, and the Macho Man is impressive. And he has a date with the Dragon in 2 weeks' time. But tonight he's victorious on Primetime Wrestling, and folks, we'll be right back after this. And folks, the tag team division here in the World Wrestling Federation is very hot. You know, you of course have the World Tag Team Champions, the Hart Foundation. But here's a tag team that's hot on their tails. And I'm not talking about Mario Mancini and Jumpin' Joey Maggs. Oh, wait a second, that's Brutus Beefcake. What is Brutus Beefcake doing here? Brutus Beefcake is not part of this match. It is to be Jumpin' Joey Maggs and Mario Mancini. And Brutus Beefcake, what is he doing out here? Oh, he's punching away. And it looks like he might actually be part of this match. I was saying that the tag team division here in the World Wrestling Federation is hot. You have the British Bulldogs. You have the Dream Team of Brutus Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine. The Powers of Pain. So many tag teams. Demolition. And of course, Heenan family members, King Kong Bundy and Andre the Giant, but I'm not sure I understand what's going on here. Jumpin' Joey Maggs and Mario Mancini were supposed to take on the British Bulldogs, but Brutus Beefcake, of all people, is at ringside. And it looks like he's part of this matchup. And outside the ring, Dynamite Kid is taking care of Mario Mancini. And the referee can't seem to get into control here. And the referee's going to disqualify, Mario Mancini and Jumpin' Joey Maggs. Fans, I don't quite understand that one, but Brutus Beefcake was not part of that match. And he just kept fighting and fighting and fighting, and well, folks, I don't know what to tell you, but we'll be right back after these words. Our next feature contest of the evening on Primetime Wrestling is Hacksaw Jim Duggan taking on the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And these two have been going at it for the last several weeks. Both in the top 5 in the Intercontinental Championship contenders. But these two have seemed to be at odds with each other and getting in each other's way of climbing up any higher in the Intercontinental Championship rankings. And the $1 Million Man in the ring waiting for Hacksaw Jim Duggan to make his way. And fans, of course, our big main event of the evening, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff takes on Jim the Anvil Neidhart, one half of the World Tag Team Champions. That's our main event of the evening, so don't go away, folks. We have plenty more action. But there's Hacksaw Jim Duggan making his way to the ring. And this match is worthy of a main event anywhere in the country, folks. And Ted DiBiase with the early advantage. And slaps Hacksaw. What an insult. Working the arm. And Hacksaw coming back with an elbow to the back of the head. Picks him up in a big body slam by Hacksaw. And now Hacksaw punching away. And over the top rope goes Duggan. Out to the floor right in front of us. And DiBiase drops the elbow. And the referee's count is on. Hacksaw fighting out of it. And rams him into the table. Hacksaw with another forearm to the back. And he's not done. He's going to ram him into the table one more time. And the referees count up to 5. These guys better get back in the ring. And Hacksaw has him. And he does throw DiBiase back in the ring. And DiBiase with a snap suplex on Duggan. It's been a back and forth battle thus far in this contest. And an underhook suplex coming up. DiBiase nails it. A beautiful maneuver. And Hacksaw shaking another. There goes the count, the choke. And he does break it up before the count of 5. And DiBiase stomping away now. And working the leg is DiBiase. And Hacksaw's in a lot of pain. Now DiBiase up to that second turnbuckle. What's he setting him up for? A double axe handle nails Duggan. And now DiBiase has him against the ropes. And a big forearm to the back again for good measure. And down goes Duggan. And he kicks out at 1. DiBiase did not hook the leg there. And he's wrenching back with his knee to the back and wrenching back on the head. A submission maneuver. Will Hacksaw give? No, Hacksaw reverses it. But DiBiase back in control with another underhook suplex. And he likes to set up for that $1 million dream with those underhook suplexes, but now he's dropping the fist and a third one. And he's going for the cover. And Hacksaw kicks out at 2. And Hacksaw better mount some sort of comeback here because DiBiase smells victory. Now he's allowing Duggan to get back to his feet, catering to the fans. I don't think he knows that Hacksaw's getting back up. And Duggan with a big right. And an atomic drop. And Duggan's starting to make a comeback. And a big clothesline. Another clothesline, and down goes DiBiase. D misses with a clothesline, and a running rebound clothesline by Duggan. And he picks him up. He's going for the power slam, the body slam down. Going for the cover, and DiBiase's down. 2, and kicks out at 2. Oh, Hacksaw almost had him there. What a back and forth contest this is on Primetime. We thank you all for joining us tonight on the USA Network. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan, he set him up for that big forearm. That clothesline, he nails it. And that could be it. He goes for the cover. And DiBiase again, 2 3/4. And Hacksaw's beside himself. Drops a standing elbow. And DiBiase's in trouble. And Duggan stomping away. DiBiase was trying to make it to the ropes to break the hold. Duggan going to that second turnbuckle. He's feeling it. Wants DiBiase to stand up and nails him with a double axe handle. And Hacksaw with a submission move. Knee to the back. Is DiBiase going to give it up? He's trying to make his way to the ropes. Is he going to get there? No, he doesn't get there. He doesn't get out of it, though. He reverses it. And a big left hand by DiBiase. Follows up with a right. And there's the $1 Million Dream. He has it cinched in. Is it going to be it? Is Hacksaw going to tap? And he does. What a comeback victory by the $1 Million Man. Snatching victory from Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And what a contest that was, folks. Ted DiBiase continuing his way up the ranks, and he's not done yet. I think he wants to separate himself from Hacksaw Jim Duggan permanently. Kicking away. Come on, ref, get in there. And the referee was able to break it up. And ladies and gentlemen, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, is victorious here tonight on Primetime Wrestling. Don't go away, folks. We have plenty more action coming right up.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's main event time here on Primetime Wrestling. And making his way to the ring is the #1 contender to the World Wrestling Federation Championship, being led to the ring by his manager Bobby Heenan. Yes, that's Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. And he is very fired up. Last week in Madison Square Garden, as we saw at the top of the program, was defeated by Hulk Hogan in that no-holds-barred match. Now, Hulk Hogan and Bobby Heenan have gone to President Jack Tunney, stating that Hulk Hogan's foot was under the bottom rope during the pinfall, and that the pinfall should not have taken place. And that made Paul and Bobby very irate. And Mr. Wonderful has threatened to make, I guess, a point on tonight's episode of Primetime. But there is one half of the tag team champions, Jim Neidhart, and if he has anything to say about it, well, that point will be moot. But Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff said he has something in store for President Jack Tunney if he doesn't grant him a world title rematch shortly. And Paul Orndorff circling ringside, Jim Anvil Neidhart holding up that tag team championship title. He is a proud tag team champion. And Mr. Wonderful looks like he's ready to go. He's going up to the top rope, and Jim Neidhart catches him. And the referee calls for the bell. And Neidhart's going for a superplex. This thing could be over before it begins. Orndorff's up and down. what a turn of events here. Mr. Wonderful started up at the top rope, and Neidhart met him and superplexed him. And that was the first offensive maneuver of the match. Now Mr. Wonderful has a suplex of his own, and Neidhart's down. And Mr. Wonderful picking up Jim Neidhart and whips him into that turnbuckle and forcefully, and the anvil goes down. And a kick by the anvil on Mr. Wonderful. Mr. Wonderful drop kicks the referee. Now he's going outside. What's he doing? He's grabbing a steel chair and he whacks Jim Neidhart with it. I'll tell you what, Mr. Wonderful, he wasn't kidding. He has been on a tear. He's been very irate, and he nails Neidhart with a drop kick. And he's going for the cover, and he was too close to the ropes there. And this is a whole dark side of Mr. Wonderful that I can't say we've never seen it before, but we haven't seen it in a while. And Mr. Wonderful is really, really showing off his frustration here against Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And Mr. Wonderful grabs Neidhart and a face buster, and Mr. Wonderful flexing in the corner. And a reversal by Neidhart into the ropes, and a stalemate. Beautiful suplex by Neidhart. Takes Orndorff up and over. And a side backbreaker by the anvil. And a right hand by Mr. Wonderful. A kick to the midsection. And a knee to the midsection takes Neidhart down, and Mr. Wonderful's kicking away. And again, a side backbreaker by Mr. Wonderful. Really putting the pressure on the lower back of the anvil. And he's holding that lower back in pain. And the anvil has to be careful here, because if he gets injured in this matchup, that's going to put the tag team championship in jeopardy. And Mr. Wonderful rams Neidhart in, and in a small package. And it only gets a 1 count. He took the momentum of the force that he ran Jim Neidhart into the turnbuckle and did an inside cradle, almost got a 2 count. A shoulder block again on Jim Neidhart. But Mr. Wonderful, his attitude is sending a rippled effect throughout the entire roster here in the World Wrestling Federation. Again, if he hurts the anvil, that could affect the tag team championship. And Mr. Wonderful has exposed that top turnbuckle, and he's going to whip Neidhart in, and face first sternum. Schoolboy has him pinned, and he lets him out. And a right hand by Mr. Wonderful, another kick, a second kick, a third kick, a right hand, and a knee, an axe handle across the back, and Mr. Wonderful is relentless in his attack on Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And now he's flexing for the crowd. I don't know why he's doing that. He had the anvil down, always setting him up for the pile driver. If he hits it, this is it. And he does. He nails it, and that's it. I think the anvil's done. But wait, Mr. Wonderful saying that's not all. He's going for the cover. And wait a second. He let him up. Make no mistake about it, Jim the Anvil Neidhart did not kick out of that maneuver. And now he sends Orndorff into the turnbuckle. That exposed turnbuckle, Mr. Wonderful may be paying for not going for the cover. And a big clothesline takes Jim the Anvil Neidhart down. And stomping away is Mr. Wonderful on Jim Neidhart. And Mr. Wonderful may be regretting not going for the pinfall. He let the anvil up after the pile driver. And now he's outside. And the anvil's following him to the floor. And a big clothesline by Mr. Wonderful. And he whips him into those wooden stairs right in the stomach. And the anvil's in pain. Doubled over. And the referee is counting away. A side backbreaker on the concrete floor, and Mr. Wonderful is in control again. As Bobby the Brain Heenan looks on, shouting instruction, and Mr. Wonderful's back in the ring, and quite frankly, he may take a count-out victory here against Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Oh, he stopped the count. I think the count was up to 8. So the Anvil has some time to get back in. 9, and the Anvil does sneak back in before the 10. And Mr. Wonderful has him. And a stalemate again. Drop kick. Beautiful drop kick by Mr. Wonderful. And he whips the Anvil out to the floor again. And Mr. Wonderful going out to follow him. It's been a little bit of an attitude adjustment this match for Mr. Wonderful, different than weeks past. He has just been a very, very mean streak lately. It all started when he power drove people out on the concrete floor to get the attention of Hulk Hogan. Oh, a big elbow. And then he stopped it once he got that world title match. But then when Hulk Hogan beat him, and even though Mr. Wonderful and Bobby Heenan say it was by cheating because Hulk Hogan's foot was allegedly under that bottom rope, it seems to have lit a fire under Mr. Wonderful again. And oh, he misses with a clothesline. Does not miss with the left and the right, and a quick kick to the side. And there's a short arm clothesline. He could be setting him up for the pile driver again. And he is. And that's the second pile driver of the match. And the Anvil's down. And he's going to cover him. That should be it. 1, 2, and 3. And Mr. Wonderful is your winner here. 2 pile drivers on Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Here's a replay. There's pile driver number 1. And he lifted him up when he went for the cover. He was toying with him, and I just can't believe it. And there's pile driver number 2. And the Anvil has to be careful because his tag team championship with Bret Hart. And wait a second. What's Mr. Wonderful doing? He's attacking Jim Neidhart after the bell. And Mr. Wonderful with a big elbow off the rebound, a kick to the back. Come on, ref, get in there. Stop this man. And Mr. Wonderful throws Jim the Anvil Neidhart outside, and he's following him out. Oh, no. Don't tell me. Mr. Wonderful, big clothesline. Don't tell me he's going to do it again. He is. The referee's calling for help, but there's nobody coming. Mr. Wonderful setting up Jim the Anvil Neidhart for a pile driver on the concrete floor. Oh, my Lord. I don't believe what we just saw. He did it again. Mr. Wonderful. Somebody has to stop this man. You're going to get your title rematch again. 2 weeks, Madison Square Garden. But my Lord, he just took out Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and that... fans, I don't know what to say. We're going to be back next week with more on Primetime Wrestling. Thank you for tuning in, but I don't know what to say here.